Member countries, IMF member states, IMF member state not accepting the obligation of the Article 8, Section 2, 3 and 4. Not all member countries of the IMF are sovereign state, and therefore not all member countries of the IMF are member of the United Nations. Amidst member countries of the IMF that are not member state of the United Nations are non-sovereign areas with the special jurisdiction that are officially under the sovereignty of the full United Nations member states, such as the Yoruba, Curacao, Hong Kong and Macau, as well as the Kosovo. The corporate member of the appoint ex officio voting members who are listed below. The all members of the IMF are also International Bank of the Reconstruction of Development and member, and vice versa. Former members are Cuba and the Republic of China, which was ejected from the United Nations in 1980s after losing the support of then United States President Jimmy Carter, and they were replaced by the People's Republic of the China. However, Taiwan province of the China is still listed in the official IMF indicates. Apart from Cuba, the United Nations, the other United Nations states that do not belong to the IMF are Andorra, Liechtenstein, Monaco, and North Korea. The former Czechoslovakia and expelled in 1954 for failing to provide the requiring data, and was readmitted in 1990 after the Velvet Revolution. Poland withdrew in 1950s illegally pressured by the Soviet Union, but returned in 1986. Qualification: any country may apply to be a part of the IMF. Post-IMF formation in the early post-war period, rules for IMF membership were left relatively loose. Members needed to make periodic membership payment toward their quota to refrain from the currency restriction unless granted IMF permissions to abide by the code of the conduct in the IMF articles of the agreement, and to provide national economic information. However, stricter rules were imposed on the governments that applied to the IMF for funding. The countries that joined the IMF between the 1945 and 1971 agreed to keep their exchange rates secured at rates that could be adjusted only to correct a fundamental disequilibrium and the balance of the payment, and only with the IMF agreement benefits. Member countries of the IMF have access to information on the economic policies of all members countries, the opportunities to influence other members' economic policies, technical assistance in the banking, finance, fiscal affairs, and exchange matters, financial support in times of payments difficulties, and increase opportunities for trade and investment. Leadership: Board of Governors. The Board of Governors consists of one governor and one alternate governor for each member countries. Each member country appoints its two governors. The board normally meets once a year and is responsible for the electing or appointing executive director to the executive boards, while the board of governors is officially responsible for the approving quotas, encouraging special drawing rights allocation, the admittance of the new members, compulsory withdrawal of members, and amendments to the article of the agreement and by laws. In practice, it has delegates most of its power to the IMF executive boards. The board governors is advised by the International Monetary and Financial Committee and the Development Committee. The International Monetary and Fiscal Committee has 24 members, and monetary development in the global liquidity and the transfer of the resources to developing countries. The Developing Committee has 25 members and advice on critical development issues and on a financial resources required to promote economic development in developing countries. They also advise on trade and environmental issues. The board of governors report directly to the meeting managing director of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva. Executive boards: 24 executive directors make up the executive board. The executive director represent all 189 member countries in a geographically based on roster. Countries with the large economy have their own executive director, but most countries are grouped into the constituencies representing 4 or more countries. Following the 2008 amendment on a voice or a participation which came into the effect in March 2011, 7 countries each appointed an executive director: the United States, Japan, China, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom, and the Saudi Arabia. The remaining 27 directors represent the constituencies consisting of 2 to 23 countries. This board usually meets several times each week. The board membership and constituencies in the schedule for the periodic review every 8 years.